Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Global Radio and TV Live, and I am your host, Dr. Ravi. The number to call is 469 307 1642. That is 469 307 1642. I would like to thank our viewers in the USA and also in the order of viewership in India, Morocco, Taiwan, Canada, Sudan, Japan, Ukraine, China, Korea, and Iraq. Well, if I haven't told your country's name, just write us an email or call us, and we will include your country also in this list. At Global Radio and TV Live, all topics are either controversial or conspiracy theories. Um, for example, I am a scientist and I don't like any talk that is not based upon good science. In this show, we have already covered a number of interesting subjects such as existence of God, nothing is more controversial than that one. Sightings of UFOs and aliens, JFK assassination, US debt, all are controversial. Now, two extremes, firm believers in all these different stories and also extreme skeptics. Now, today's topics is a deviation from our usual controversial stories where people get excited and got heated, but no, we are going to have a pleasant conversation today. Our featured guest is Bruce Oliver, and he has a radio show with the name Cruise with the Bruce. Cruise with Bruce, sorry. All right. He is a luxury travel expert, and his name appears in Who is Who in America and Who is Who in the World. He has knowledge of all types of cruises all over the world, ideal candidate to answer all your questions about luxury cruises. So, Bruce, welcome to Global Radio and TV Live.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for asking.
Most welcome. So, Bruce, let's get right to it. How did you get interested in cruise business?
Well, for the last 35 years, I've cruised and traveled throughout the world. I've been to 45 countries now, and decided about 5 years ago that I would take my passion for travel and turn it into a business, which I've done. So, in the last 5 years, I've formalized all my operations and started to work with people from around the world, actually, the same as your program is, to help them find trips. You know how most people that are very, very busy get frustrated when they start looking through the internet and they want to find the best value for a package that they're buying, whether it be a land based package or a cruise based package.
Right.
Well, I solve this. I do this by working with over 85 destination specialists from around the world. I belong to the Signature Travel Network, which is a cooperative of about 6,000 people from around the world, and we book about $5 billion worth of business a year.
Okay.
And because of this, we've got great buying power, and we're able to take people's uh, ordinary plans for a cruise vacation or a land-based vacation and turn them into a value extraordinary and memorable event in their lives. And I do this with a wide number of people from around the world. I belong to and am a certified person with a number of cruise lines, including the biggies, Cunard and Princess, Norwegian, all the large ones. I deal with Seabourn and Silver Seas, the Viking River Cruise Line in Europe, and now they're in Asia. They do some cruises in Vietnam and Mumbai, not Mumbai, another country in Asia, and I also work with competing lines, Uniworld, Ama Waterways, Scenic Waterways, and they do river cruises throughout Europe, China, Africa, South Africa, and they couple them with interesting safaris and events like going to uh, Victoria Falls in South Africa It's a fantastic way to see the world. Cruising is one of my favorite ways to see the world. But sometimes you have to get off the beaten path and go inside of a country, and we work with all the luxury and there's 800 vendors that work with us that are
Okay.
approved.
Well, here is a question though. You see all kinds of advertisements or
Yeah.
people call you last minute cruise bookings, and they say that you get a balcony room or a stateroom or whatever else on a very nice Canada or one of those fancy cruise ships, and in the last minute, since you are booking at the last minute and they have to depart, you please pay us very little money. Is that true?
It depends. It depends upon the cruise line. A lot of the cruise lines that are the high end lines, what they do is they don't discount count the cruise. They give you extras. They may give you an onboard credit. They may give you champagne in the room or dinner in the specialty restaurant. It depends upon the cruise line. The lower end lines do discount the cruises. I don't deal with the lower end lines. I work with mostly the large and the well known premium and luxury cruise lines.
Okay. Now, the next question I have for you is mostly related to scams or our audience. They're all over the world, and there is
Yes.
always people calling them cruise screws. Now, are there any scams that they have to be worried about and afraid of?
Right.
Are there any?
And for every industry, there's going to be somebody that comes in and uh, is trying to make a fast buck, and they're not legit. What you want to make sure when you're dealing with somebody is that they are dealing through a registered travel agency, and they usually have an IATA number. I have an IATA number because I work with a host in Florida, actually. And my agency books everything through the IATA number there.
Okay.
You also want to make sure that they have certifications from the Cruise Line Industry Association if you're booking something with a cruise line. And you can ask them for their credentials. So I can understand that stuff happening, and it's usually online. And it's usually somebody that is not going to deal with their customer. Uh, you want to make sure that you can find previous customers that have utilized the agent and get get their telephone numbers and call
Okay.
them.
Okay. So that's good news actually. That there's always, like any other industry, there are always scams. Now we got that out of the way. Next, let me ask you this. Suppose somebody comes to you, hey, listen, I have my bucket list, and the bucket list says that I have to go on a cruise, and I
Hmm.
have, let's assume he's a reasonably wealthy man, and I'm
Hmm.
willing to spend for $5,000, no problem. So, what is the best cruise you would advise him or her?
3 to 5 thousand.
Yes.
Then, if you've got a budget of 3 to 5 thousand, it depends upon what part of the world you want to go out of. Uh, if you are in a area that is close to a cruise port,
Right.
that's
Like
my
like
recommendation.
Florida.
Florida,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a lot of the Barcelona in Spain, Madrid, not Madrid, Barcelona, uh, Lisbon.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go over to Athens, you can get cruises out of Athens, Dubai. I think there's one here out of Mumbai,
Oh,
Singapore.
Singapore. Mm-hmm.
And then if you're in the South Pacific, you can go out of Australia. There
Okay.
are a lot of premium cruises that go out of Tahiti,
Uh-huh.
and but those are not 3 to 5 thousand. Those are 5 to 10 thousand.
5 to 10,000. Okay.
The cap.
Okay. All right. Let's assume our client is rich and he has no money. He's not worried about money. He has plenty of money, and he is willing to spend 100 to $200,000 for him and his wife. So, do you have anything for them?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I work with people that do that. I book world cruises or world cruise segments. World cruises usually start in let's say January.
Uh huh.
They go from anywhere from 113 to 140 days. They go out of the major cruise ports, and you can go on one of these cruises. And you've got to remember, when you start talking about cruises, cruises are all inclusive. Uh, all inclusive in the sense that you get your board paid, so you're able to eat. You have your transportation taken care of, which is your ship. You have lodging that follows you, so you unpack once and you go anywhere in the world. So a lot of the people that go on a world cruise spend between 80,000. Well, if you get a low end cabin, it can be anywhere from 40,000 a person to about 120,000 a person.
Okay.
So you're talking about a cruise that will cost about 74 to 150,000.
You know, if,
and you're going for 3 months.
Yes.
So you can go from all the cruise line. Well, there's several major cruise lines that do this. Cunard is one of them. Princess, Seabourn, Crystal, Holland America. Those are the main ones that do world cruises. Now, the nice thing about a world cruise is there's also segments. And segments start.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a small break here. So what we will do, we will listen to this while I try to get
there?
Bruce. Yeah, Bruce, are you back?
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to go and show some of your other videos, but let's get back to this. Go ahead and tell our audience. You said that there is a segment cruise. That means they can go to different parts of the world.
Well, what they do is a segmented cruise. Let's say if you're talking about Cunard.
Okay.
Cunard will start, maybe the Queen Mary or Queen Victoria or Queen Elizabeth will start in Southampton, England. And in one case, they go to New York City. So you can pick up a cruise there. Then it goes around and it may go through the Panama Canal and end up in Los Angeles. You can pick up a long segment, or you can stack these segments starting in Los Angeles. And then it may go down to Australia. You can pick up the cruise there and stack segments. And then it'll go through South China Sea into the Indian Ocean. You may pick it up in Mumbai. You may pick it up in Dubai. Then it might go over in through the Suez Canal into the Mediterranean, and you can pick it up. And there are various segments that you can pick up anywhere in the world. So it'd be closer to your home, and it's going to be a shorter time, though.
I see. Well, the next question I have, this is critical because I know that one of my friends went on one of these world cruises that lasted about 3 months. I think he paid a huge amount of money, probably $150,000, and he saw the whole world, practically everything.
Yeah.
Now he said after this, he says that he doesn't want to come back and stay in the land. He wants to go and permanently live in a cruise ship. Now, I know I heard of something called residency. Now, are there any cruise ships that are available where you can permanently stay there?
There are cruise ships.
Okay.
And it's actually a city. And there's one that's being built, and there's a lot of talk about it, where you buy a condo on the ship.
Okay.
And they may start at $500,000.
Okay.
So a $500,000 condo is going to be a smaller condo, but then you can get the large, 2,000, 3,000 square foot living quarters.
Okay.
Now, connected with, because the ship is so large,
yes,
you can also, there's drugstores, there's hospitals, there's a lot of things. And these types of ships are being built now, and they're looking at building more in the future.
I see. Okay, very good. So the next question I have for you, what I would like to do, I want to show a little video of yours. And let's take a look at this, and then let's discuss this.
Sure.
Sunset over the Nile. Here's Mohammed, our driver. all the carriages. And the sun is going down like incredibly fast. "5:25, and the sun is going down, and it's changing very quickly. And it's going down very quickly. And it's orange. A matter of about 10 minutes, the sun sets from...
All right, Bruce. This particular one is. Tell us about this. This is yours, right? I hope I'm got the right one.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. What is this
That was
exactly? And tell our audience where did you find it? And is this associated with the cruise, Nile cruise, or one of those?
absolutely. It's a Nile cruise. You can find my YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/cruise with Bruce, all one word. And that, along with a lot of the other videos that I'm taking, are on that channel. That was one of the most relaxing cruises on the Nile. I spent 18 days in Egypt, and it was a bucket list time for me. Going on a river cruise is very different than an ocean cruise. And a lot of people love river cruises because you unpack once and you float, in this case, up the river.
Okay. And
you can see the sides of the various towns, people, etc. And this particular video was taken in Luxor.
Mm-hmm.
We were in Luxor for a couple of days and visited the Queen Hatshepsut's, the Valley of the Queens, the Valley of the Kings.
Uh-huh.
And we also went into the marketplace in Luxor and to a Karnak temple and the Temple of Luxor. This was on a carriage ride, actually, that we took through the city center of Luxor, not the touristy area, but the city center. And we ended up our ride on the Nile and saw that amazing sunset. It was extremely nice trip and gave me a love for river cruising. And that was about, 1998 that I went on that. Since then, I've been on other cruises and other river cruises, including China. I was on the Yangtze River in China through the three gorges. And that was prior to the gorges being filled up by the dam, the Great Three Gorges Dam. Another amazing trip. Every trip is different. I've had clients that just came back from an 18-day river cruise from Budapest to Amsterdam, China, Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And the nice thing is you can stop at cities along the river, get off, get back on. And sometimes you cruise at night, sometimes you cruise during the day. And the nice thing is you can, if you're on a ship that's on a river, like the Nile, like the Yangtze, like a lot of the cruises that are in Europe right now, and in Russia, there's one that goes from St. Petersburg to Moscow. Another one in Asia. There's some in Portugal, France. You can float down the Seine to the Mediterranean and go through Lyon and some of the Avignon, etc. Some of the places that are in southern France as well as northern France.
All right, very good. See, I know I have heard, I have never been on a cruise, by the way, so it's about time I should get on one of those. Now, the one thing that I heard from all my friends who had been on cruises, they were saying that the food is fabulous or fantastic. Now tell our audience why the cruise food has such a high rating and ranking among all kinds of other food we can get from restaurants or very nice five-star hotels. Is this quality of food in a cruise ship is better than a five-star hotel?
It depends upon what cruise line you go on.
Okay.
All of them have a superb food, uh, and they won't. If they don't have good food, then clients will not come back. Imagine paying anywhere from $50 to $100 a day, and that includes lodging.
Right.
You're not going to get that in a five-star hotel.
Right.
So the nice thing about a cruise ship, and I find I overeat on cruise ships. Surprise, surprise. And most people say the same thing. But I have gotten it to the point where I try to do some walking, and I, in the morning, have food delivered to the room, because then I do not see a buffet that is very tempting. Buffets
Yes.
are very tempting.
Right.
I usually get something light for lunch, and depending upon the ship, they have little sandwiches or salads, things like that. And you get something light, or you can go to the dining room for 3 meals. It doesn't matter. The dining room is where I go at night, because I like sitting at large tables with large numbers of people. It's very, very interesting. She got off of a cruise with Queen Victoria, 18 days going to the Mediterranean from London,
Okay.
and actually Southampton, England.
All right.
And the dinner time on a cruise ship is extraordinary. So it gives you a chance to meet people from all over the world, and have a nice meal, and it's a multi-course meal.
Okay. Now the next question, you know that there were Somali pirates, and they were, going
Yes.
up and down the East African coast. Now, do cruise ships avoid that area completely, or do they have internal security that can probably shoot these guys out of the water?
The cruise ships do have security.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to get length at how much there is, but imagine a city.
Yeah.
What you've got is a city with a hospital. You have restaurants. You have stores. You have a police department or security. You have the hotel management people. You have people that clean. So it's going to be like a city, and there are armed guards on all the ships.
Okay.
I'm not saying it'll never happen, but I have not heard of anything happening to a cruise ship, except for something about 20 years ago in the Mediterranean.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of things have changed in the last 20 years as far as security goes.
So do they actually have the capability to protect themselves in the event of any kind of an attack from a terrorist group or terrorist organizations, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And if there is any problems whatsoever, they're going to be in constant contact with the governments and with each other,
right,
regarding dangers that are happening in the area. There are cruises that go around South Africa. I know that the Somali pirates do go up, not as far up as the Suez Canal in that area, but there is a lot of ships that go in the Indian Ocean and then South China Sea. I know that there are cruise lines that do go around the south point of
Africa.
Africa.
Mm. Well, sometime back, I do remember I went to see the residency, the very first one in I believe in 1995, 96. It came on port, came to port in New York City, and I asked them about the same issue. What about security? They said that they have the Gurkha regiment that stays inside, and they won't tell me how many people are there, because it's well kept secret, I would imagine.
Yes.
Okay. The next question I have: are there any special type of cruises? For example, Are there singles cruises? Or there's cruises just only for men, or just only for some businessmen, or only people who wants to, all of them suffering from diabetes? Bad news. So are there any special such cruises that you can get on?
There are cruises, but then you're talking about a ship that has anywhere from uh, 90 people on for a very boutique type of cruise to 1,600 to 5,000. So within every ship, and the last 3 or 4 cruises that I've been on, they've had singles groups,
Uh-huh.
and actually in the Queen Victoria, they had singles groups that met daily,
Oh,
and sometimes they ate together. Now on Norwegian Cruise Line, if you go as a single, you can go into the Haven Suites, and they have a singles lounge.
ah,
But a lot of the ships are now accommodating uh, people that are access incapable.
right.
Maybe they've
Handicapped.
got a
Okay.
problem, they need a CNI dog, or maybe they need assistance with a wheelchair, or they need assistance any other way. Uh, they've beefed up their capability to work with all types of people. And as a matter of fact, people that are on dialysis can arrange to have dialysis on some of the ships.
Wow, wow.
There's a full hospital on a ship.
Huh.
Most of the stuff can be done on our ocean cruise line. And if they need to transport, then that's the reason why you really need to get evacuation insurance. And I always tell everybody, be safe rather than sorry, and buy trip insurance. Now, regarding some of the other groups, there are cruises that are surrounding, and they have a theme to them. Foodies,
Foodies.
wine cruises.
Right.
This is a type of cruise that is done on river cruises, and they do the entire ship is everybody that goes on it is interested in wine and food.
I see.
And then on some of the luxury lines, they have people that come in that are jazz enthusiasts. There are people that are interested in. As a matter of fact, I listened to The Astronaut
Okay.
on one of the last cruises that I went on. So all types of interests, and there are a lot of groups. On a cruise that I went in January on the Queen Mary, there was a group that was studying um, one of the movies, Les Miserables,
Les Miserables. Okay.
and Victor Hugo's work. And they spent the entire time in sessions, and there were about 350 of them, 350 participants, and they had a room where they could go to and spend some time learning about the Les Miserables and Victor Hugo's work and how it related to the movie as well as to the play. So yes, there's hundreds of different ways that people cruise, and there are also groups that say they're interested in knitting. So there may be a knitting group that goes on a cruise. I've got a group that I'm working with right now that is they belong to a business, and they are legal people, and they're going to be doing a cruise in the Caribbean on the Norwegian Cruise Line in February.
Okay.
So
So
you
we
can
have
book
so we
just
have
about any
different types
cruise.
of cruises available for different folks. Now
Yes.
that brings up an interesting point, because if somebody, maybe perhaps this is a new way to go about it. Somebody wants to have a heart transplant. Since you have hospitals over there, maybe they can get that heart transplant done in the cruise ship while the uh, Blue Cross and Blue Sheet pays for it, and then they will pay for the rest of it. Perhaps that's a possibility.
I don't think so. I don't think there's heart surgeons on the ship.
Well, then maybe
There
they should
are
get those.
there are qualified doctors. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
on my radio program, I had a doctor that spent 10 years on a cruise ship.
Ah,
And a friend of mine that is actually one of my clients is a doctor and is going to spend some time on the cruise ship. Interesting thing, I ran into him, never saw the man in my life live, and I ran into him on a cruise in the stairwell. Very,
Wow.
very interesting. But he said that there's a hospital and if there's a problem, then you have to be evacuated to the nearest large hospital in the area. Just had a client recently that was on a river cruise in Germany, and the seventh day in, now this is like a 16, 17-day cruise. Third day in, he was in Germany and started to feel numbness, and they determined that there was something wrong. So they sent him to the local hospital, and because he had one of the better insurance policies, and I always recommend buy an insurance policy, he was sent to the hospital, found out that he had an aneurysm,
Mm-hmm.
and had to be sent to a hospital in a larger city, and just got home last week. As a matter of fact, when we were first talking a few minutes ago, he was the one on the phone.
Uh-huh.
They did a remarkable job. And see, the thing about insurance is, if you have to be medevaced,
Yes.
in other words, you've got to be sent via
Helicopter.
extraordinary means back home, it can be very, very expensive.
Right.
Anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000,
Right.
and that would be covered by the travel insurance. So I always tell all my clients, I recommend that they purchase travel insurance.
Okay. Now, the next thing I want to show is how does these cruise ships actually look inside? Let's take a look at this little video from Bruce. All right. Let's see if we can get the sound off. There you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Global Radio and TV Live. You are listening to our featured guest, Bruce Oliver. Is also known as the Cruise with Bruce. Bruce, welcome back. Now, we saw that little video, and I mean, now it tells me that I should just close this show right now and get out there and get on one of those cruises.
There you go. It's a wonderful way to see the world and relax. I had a client that was had been on 80 cruises and goes on cruises and doesn't even get off the ship now.
Oh.
Because it's relaxing.
Right.
And there are all types of cabins. I always tell people, listen, if you want the cheapest cabin, then expect that.
Okay.
If you do an inside cabin, the lowest price,
yes,
you're going to be in the worst part of the ship. Give you an example. If you get a location and it may be forward, in other words, in the bow of the ship,
okay,
and you're way, way close to the bow,
Okay.
Every morning as you dock in a port, you hear the anchors.
Oh, I see.
If you are on a ship and there's a problem with, as there was a couple of years ago with one of the ships in the Gulf of Mexico, and they had problems because they lost power or they had a fire, I can't recall what it was,
Okay.
then a lot of people had to go out on deck.
Okay.
Well, the people that were on the lower decks in the inside cabins
Right.
couldn't open windows.
Uh-huh.
The sewerage backed up. Those are the cabins the sewerage went into.
Wow.
So I usually tell people, listen, mid-range is probably going to be better. Closer up one or two decks and in the middle of the ship. They're going to be a little more expensive. Now, some people just love inside cabins. Then there are also outside cabins. Now, there can be obstructed views. In other words, there may be boats outside or part of the ship that is blocking the view out of the boat.
Mm.
Those are obstructed view cabins. Then there are also cabins that are ocean view cabins. In other words, there's a window, you can't open it, and you can just see the water.
Mm.
If you go up in price a little bit more, then you start going into balcony cabins. Now, balcony cabins are front and back, but middle also. The balcony cabins that are in the middle are going to be a little more expensive, but you're not going to have the rock of the ship
I
as
see.
much.
Okay.
Now, then you start going into suites, junior suites, and cabins like that. Cabins that have verandas. And in January, I was in a penthouse. It was about 2,000 square feet.
Ah.
It's a house inside of a ship.
Okay.
And they had their own butler. They have a dining room. They have a living room. They have a master suite. They have bathrooms, his and hers bathrooms. Also, they had dressing rooms,
Wow.
his and her dressing rooms. Balcony off the top of that. And then off the back of the ship, this is the back of the ship, there was a deck
Uh-huh.
that was humongous. It was very, very large. And then they had their own whirlpool tub, and they also had their own pool.
Wow.
So you go in range from a couple of $1,000 or $500 to $25,000
Wow.
per.
Very interesting. Now, see, our cruise ship discussions would not be complete unless we also look into Minecraft. You know, the kids are into Minecraft. Now, a lot of my audience are Minecraft fans. So I thought we will pull a Minecraft video out and show to our audience exactly what somebody built a cruise ship on a
because
Minecraft.
I'm not the host, but let's have another go. Oh, here we go. Nope. Let's just fly up. You know, we're on creative mode, and this is another corridor. Look, there's another whole massive row of bedrooms there, and another one there. There's 3 whole massive corridors, and they all for us to listen to. And is this how you get into the kitchen? You just jump through that little hatch there. I'm sure that's not very hygienic, walking up and down the counters. And here we go. Here's towards the back of the boat. I think these are like lifeboats, I guess. Go to sleep. If I just put down another bed as there is left. Like, this place is so massive. I love it. I love the detail that has been put into every single aspect, you know, like adding all things like the disco and the gym and all those small touches is a really cool idea. And what's with all the fire everywhere? This doesn't look safe. Imagine coming down here and saying, oh, should we have a nice game of cards on one of the tables? All over the place, but it works. It does look really cool. And oh, is this the front of the boat? I thought that was the to get to the tennis court without just doing some parkour and jumping over the roof. But
All right, Minecraft fans, I think I kept your addiction going there. All right, let's get back to Bruce. Bruce, let's see what else we have. I got a couple of questions on Children, are there any cruise for children?
Most cruise ships today
Yeah.
do accommodate children.
Uh-huh.
Some ships have more activities and some have less. Even the Cunard line, which is a lot of adults, on the cruise in July that I went to the Mediterranean,
Okay.
there were about 100 children
Wow.
out of 1,900 passengers. So even that type of ship has children's, and it's segmented by age. So you have the younger children, the mid-range children, kids that are in their teens, and then the older teens. Some ships are known as children's ships. They have programs that are massive, and they have all kinds of activities. The Norwegian Cruise Line is one of them. Royal Caribbean is being known as a children's ship. Princess does a lot with children. And then you've got the older and the more expensive cruises that have fewer children on them. Cruises that people are spending $25,000, $30,000 on either Seabourn or Windstar, Paul Gauguin. But then there are kids that go on the Paul Gauguin in Tahiti, and they have a way for them to get off the ship on it's sort of like a dock off the back of the ship, and they can take wave runners and things like that. So just about every ship has activities for children.
Okay.
Some of them more and some of them less.
Okay.
And this is the reason why you really want to talk to somebody like myself.
All right.
Usually when I talk to somebody about booking a cruise, I find out what they're looking for. Why are they going? Who's going? What types of activities are you interested in? What types of hotels do you stay in when you're on land? Do you have any passions, like hobbies that you're very, very interested in? Are you interested in cultural travel? And an agent like myself will assist and put you on a cruise that is going to be children oriented or just adults.
Yes.
Because there are some cruises that are mostly adults.
Are there any?
And just for children.
Are there any cruises that depart out of Germany through the river there, or?
Well, there are a lot of cruises that go through the Kiel Canal, and they go to Werburg and places like that. The cruises up in the Scandinavian countries, a lot of them go out of Norway, Oslo, Norway, Copenhagen, Denmark, etc. And those go around the Scandinavian countries, and they hit northern Germany.
Oh.
If you, there are also cruises, and a lot more now, that go out of England, Southampton, Dover, London, that go through the Kiel Canal, and they hit and go into Germany. A lot of the cruises that you talk about that are in Germany are river cruises.
River cruises. The
river cruises that start and they go down the Rhine River, the Moselle, and they may go over to the Danube. They go through the Main canals, and those are usually river cruises. There are also cruises that go down into Switzerland, to Basel. Some others that you can go into France from it. So yes, the cruises that you talk about with Germany most of the time are river cruises.
Well, the reason that I brought Germany up is because we have to have some kind of comedy in life. So yes. I found this particular one from the Third Reich. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's say now the guys are speaking in German, except the language was changed to reflect that Hitler wants to go on a carnival cruise.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's listen to this.
Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor. Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow, und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg, Marsdorf, Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners bis das alles in Ordnung kommt.
Mein Führer, Steiner konnte nicht genügend Kräfte für einen Angriff massieren. Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodl, Krebs und Burgdorf. Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer sind Sie, dass Sie es wagen, sich meinen Befehl zu widersetzen? So weit ist das also gekommen. Das Militär hat mich belogen! Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS! Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie verbrechen...
Nicht als Feiglinge! Verreiter, Versager!
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich.
Die Generalität ist das Geschmolz des deutschen Volkes! Sie ist ohne Ehre! Sie nennen sich Generale, weil Sie ja...
So that's how that little story goes on. You know, they took that nice movie and they made so many parodies. And the one of them I found was the cruise ship parody. So I thought, well, that's very fitting here to put it up there. And the languages are not very good, but this is an adult show. The people can handle it. All right, let's come back to Bruce. Bruce, all right. There is one other video I want to show that came from your. You know, there are several of them. One of them is this, Santa Barbara. What is this exactly? Well, let's take a look at it for a few seconds and then we will ask Bruce about it. All right, Bruce, go ahead and tell us what is this about and exactly how this fits into the whole picture.
I hear you. There are cruises all over the United States that go out of the various ports, and this particular cruise went on Princess Cruise, and wanted to go and visit a previous guest on my radio show, Michael Servin, who is a travel writer, and he lives in Santa Barbara. And actually, Michael told me about the courthouse that this video was shot from, and it looks all over Santa Barbara, and there's a 360 degree view. That cruise was in Southern California, out of Los Angeles area. There's a lot of 3 to 4 day, sometimes 5 day cruises, and a lot of people in Southern California go on these cruises. That particular cruise went from Los Angeles up to Santa Barbara. We got off the ship and spent a wonderful day in Santa Barbara. There were 2 friends of mine up there, and touched base with them, took some video, and I wanted to get this from the top of the courthouse, which is a historic courthouse in Santa Barbara. And then we went down to Ensenada, because every ship that's non-U.S. registry, if it goes to a U.S. port, has to spend 1 night or 1 day in a foreign port. And so the favorite port on the West Coast and the Pacific Coast is Ensenada. So we went down to Ensenada and then ended up in Los Angeles and came home.
Okay, the next one I want to show also, this is part of an activity that is away from the cruise, but I thought this has an interesting story here. You may be able to tell us what this is. Let's take a look at this. All right, Bruce, tell us exactly what that video is all about.
I did not see it, but I believe this was inside of a ship, right?
Yes, instead of a ship. You didn't see it?
No.
Oh, okay. All right,
It was
then let's continue that while you talk about it. How about that? Yeah.
On that particular venture over to California,
Right.
there is a cruise ship, the Queen Mary, that is docked in Long Beach, California.
Uh-huh.
And it is now a hotel.
Oh.
And because of the time that I spent on the Queen Mary 2, it was actually the 10th anniversary sailing. I went with the vice president of Cunard North America with about 10 or 12 other agents. And we spent some time going from New York to Southampton on the Queen Mary 2 in January. And I said, well, this would be interesting. I would like to see the Queen Mary that was on the ocean about 60 years ago. It was a transport ship for World War II. It actually went 30 knots,
Wow.
which is very, very quick.
Right.
And it could outrun the German U-boats.
U-boats. Okay.
So I wanted to spend some time and got a cabin on the Queen Mary, and that is all original woodwork. And the cabin as it was back 60, 70 years ago. The inside of the ship, I tried to get the various venues, the Lido deck where a lot of the shops were, as well as you saw that every single ship has a where you can book your next cruise and get future cruise credits.
Right.
So ask your travel agent about booking a future cruise. And if you book a future cruise, you get a discount. So you don't have to put as much money down to save a cruise. And you also get credits on board. Well, that was on there. Some of the dishes from the Queen Mary. And back then, the Winston Churchill restaurant and Winston Churchill and a lot of the dignitaries from around the world went on the Queen Mary. So it's a smattering of all the various things that were on the Queen Mary. And I wanted to put that together for my clients and people that enjoy ship history.
Oh, very nice. Well, we have covered a lot of different aspects. You know, we covered special interest groups for children, for Minecraft followers, and people with different types of interest and everything else. I want to come back and talk about living on a cruise ship, like that residency, are there more like that out there?
There are a number of them that are in planning stages right now.
Uh-huh.
I know of one, but once the property or the space on the ship sold, it's sold. They keep their itineraries very quiet. People that go on those ships, they own the suite, or they own the property, and it has living room, dining room, bedrooms, bathrooms. They can either get people to take care of, housekeepers, or they take care of it themselves.
Uh-huh.
But they go on and off the ship by helicopter. So
Oh,
they may want to pick up a cruise or pick up the ship as it's in the Orient somewhere, in Southeast Asia, or in China, or down in the Indian Ocean. So they can pick it up all over the world. They usually fly into an international airport, and they take a helicopter, and there's a helipad on the ship. So this is going to be something that happens more and more in the future.
I
I
see.
know there are only a couple of them right now, and I watched a program about a year ago where they were talking about these types of all the
Okay.
challenges with such a large ship, because it's as big as a city. I mean,
Right.
it's humongous,
Well,
and they've got their own problems, because you realize now you've got to have all your water treatment systems. You've got to have the food
right.
for everybody. You've got to have grocery stores, hospitals, drugstores. All that type of stuff is on those types of ships. Um,
Okay,
the
now let's go
so
back and
wealthy.
yeah, let's go back and we are coming to the end of the show. 1 hour has passed pretty quick, especially all those videos we showed. Um, if somebody wants to contact you, two things we would like to know. In what way you can help them? You already told them that you are on the higher end of the cruise ship business or luxury cruise business. If they want to contact you, how do they contact you?
They can contact me by either calling me, but the best way is I have a service that I've purchased, and each quarter we have a sweepstakes. We give away a trip. I think this quarter it's going to Scandinavian. It's for 2 people, and it's for a week, airfare included. And if you go to my website, and the website address is win, W-I-N, dot, cruisewithbruce.com. Fill out the form, and on the form it says, where do you want to travel? What do you like to do? Do you like cruising? Do you like going land-based ventures and vacations? Do you want to go on adventure trips? Do you want to go on a safari? It'll ask all these questions, and then based on what you filled out on the form, you get emails. So make sure your email address is correct, and you're told when there are bargains and specials. And there's a wide range of people that get these things. People that are spending $300 or $400 for a cabin for a cruise to the Caribbean, out of either Galveston, Texas, or Houston, or one of the ports in the Gulf of Mexico, or anywhere in the world.
Mm.
And they get targeted emails. So if you're interested in a particular ship, you will get only emails for that ship and specials for that ship. And I also send out mailings. So you may get a piece of mail. And this is a book, 68 pages, and it has stories about various parts of the world. And this one's got Scandinavia and Fiji, Mexico, but it covers all different parts of the world, as well as specials to the parts of the world.
Right.
And you may get a copy of a booklet if it's something that you're interested in. So if you're interested in a cruise, or you're interested in a land vacation, and then you also put your budget there, and at the bottom where it says, where did you hear about this, say that you heard on this particular program.
Very
and
nice.
And I'll take care of you.
Okay, so it's win.cruisewithbruce.com. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Now, also contact me by email, bruce@cruisewithbruce.com. But the best way is, because then you'll get immediate information by going to win.cruisewithbruce.com. You'll get immediate information regarding the types of trips that you're interested in, and we can go from there. If you've got something that's urgent, you can call me also, 877-749-7128. That is my toll-free number, and as a matter of fact, I have it forwarded to my cell phone unless I'm on a trip.
Okay. Okay. So when our audience all over the world, when they get the urge to go on a cruise, they should contact Bruce, and they can call 877. It's a toll-free number in the US. 877-749-7128. Bruce, it's been wonderful. I think we will have to go back and ask you to come back on our show and check with all the pictures you have in the back. Maybe we should defer that to the next show, because I'm fascinated by all the pictures behind you. So we have to conclude the show here for now, but thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, and it's been an amazing, quick, fast hour, and I welcome the opportunity to come back again and talk about something a little bit different. The pictures, some of the places I've been.
Well, as a matter of fact, I would like to talk about you and your experience and how come you are able to go on these cruises on a regular basis. Everybody in my audience would like to know about this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Bruce Oliver. His website is cruisewithbruce.com. Is that correct? And also you can go and win one of the sweepstakes in his website, win.cruisewithbruce.com. The number to call is 877-749-7128. He does all different types of cruise, usually in the upper end, but he can give you all kinds of important information and ideas, where to go and where not to go, who to trust and who not to trust. So a very resourceful person. We were very happy to have him. My audience world over, if you are in India, you are in Japan, you still can contact him. Send him an email. Email would be bruce@cruisewithbruce.com. Now, once again, thank you. If you would like to stay on the line for a few more minutes, then I'll get back to you, Bruce. But here our show ends for now. But before we end this, I want to go back and show our audience all over the world, especially those Bollywood fans, that there was a movie that was taken in 1961 in one of the Bollywood movies, and there was the hero and the heroine. They were in the cruise ship, but they show the inside of the cruise, and of course in a Bollywood movie, so you expect a musical. So here's the musical in the local language. Let's see if you can listen to this. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Bruce, please stay on the line for a few minutes.
Certainly will.
All right.
பாடத்தோன்றும் என்ன பாடத்தோன்றும்